Good evening. Welcome to the in-person and the virtual meeting of the Planning and Development Advisory Committee for August 13th, 2024. There'll be two meetings tonight. One will be the Committee of Adjustment and the second will be the Advisory Committee. We will be rendering decisions on three minor variances this evening. And there'll be three consents for consideration for the advisory committee to provide comments onto the county. Please note that the meeting is video and audio recorded, and all electronic meetings are uploaded to the municipality's YouTube page. By registering to participate in the meeting, by electronic means are consenting to have their likeness and comments recorded and posted on YouTube. So we'll call the meeting to order. We'll go with a roll call. Amanda Knight.
Present.
Chris Picard.
Present.
Paul Sedra.
Present.
And I, Councilor Johnson Poulos, I'm present as well. To my right, we have two staff members. We have a Secretary Treasurer, Lynn Banks, immediately to my right. And to her right is our Township Planner, Mikulo Sopavila, so he's be doubling up as our IT person today as well. So let's do a moment of reflection right now. Thank you. So we're moving to number 5, disclosure conflict of interest. Do we have any from any of the members? No. Okay, Lynn, I want to take the next one.
Certainly, that the committee approves the August 13th, 2024 agenda and reports as circulated.
Okay, mover. All second. Chris, all in favor? Thank you. And we do the consent agenda. Right.
That the committee approved the minutes of July 9th, 2024.
Okay, mover, Amanda, second, Chris, all in favor? Great, thank you. Okay, so we'll get into the actual process right now for the hearings. The purpose of these hearings is to provide, is to inform and provide the public with the opportunity to ask questions or express views with respect to a minor variance application before us today. Township requests you please notify the secretary of the committee by email at lynnbanks@poston.ca if you wish to be on record and wish to be notified of future hearings and decisions regarding a specific application. The format of the hearing is as follows. I'll read the application if you heard, and as staff display development information. Staff will present an information report specifically outlining the purpose of the application, summarizing compliance with the township notification and submission requirements, and outlining staff comments. The applicant will be asked to come forward and present the purpose and details of the application and any further information. Following this, we'll turn it over to the public to obtain clarification, ask questions, express their views on the proposal. They'll have a maximum of 10 minutes to speak. And following this, the members of the committee will likewise have the opportunity to obtain clarification, ask questions. And we'll get down to any decision. If a member wishes to add a condition, I'll ask for a vote on the condition. The member will the committee will then deliberate the application with any approved conditions and render decision. And the decision will be subject to a 20-day appeal period. Okay, so let's get to the first one. Okay, the application for minor variance permission under Section 45 of the 45 Planning Act. 7.1 minor variance application E13-LAM LAM Dune 56 Brock Road South, requesting relief from new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 13.4E to permit construction of new single family dwelling to replace existing dwelling to permit an enlargement of 55.96% instead of 50%. Then requesting relief from new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 7.3 to table 7.3 to allow a 3.87 meter maximum frontage yard instead of 3 meters as permitted. So, Lynn, would you please summarize the application, notification, and submission requirements, outlining staff, agency, and public comments, and any recommendations?
Notice of the application was given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Notice requirements for the application have been met, and the following comments were received. The Township's Fire Department and Public Works Department had no concerns with the application. Source Water is advised that the property is located in a vulnerable area, but the activities as indicated would not create a significant drinking water threat, and the application can be screened out. And it does not require Section 59 notice under the Clean Water Act. The building department has said that they have no objections to increasing the front setback from 3 meters to 2.87 meters. They did note that at the time of building permit submission, ensure that a full grading plan is provided and that it includes the proposed septic system, well, and buildings in the proposal. Any wells and their type on adjacent properties are to be identified. And the grading plan required for building permit submission is to be prepared by a professional engineer or Ontario land surveyor. And they did note that a demolition permit has been issued for the existing building as of July 19, 2024. Township's bylaw department noted that they have no comments or concerns with the proposal. They did note that due to the heavy rainfall the week of July 15th, the rear wall and roof of the house collapsed, leading to extensive damage. And bylaw enforcement followed up with the property owner. And an order was issued for the building to be demolished, and the property owner has obtained a demolition permit. And I can note that the building has been demolished. That was confirmed by our building department. The County of Wellington said the township should be satisfied that all concerns from the Grand River Conservation Authority are addressed. They noted that the development is minor, that safe access is available, and that the intent and purpose of the official plan is maintained. County of Wellington Road Department had no objections. And the GRCA said that they have no objections to the proposed minor variance application. They further noticed that information currently available at their office indicates that a majority of the subject property is within the floodplain associated with Mill Creek. They further noted that the property is within the regulated allowance adjacent to the floodplain. And due to the presence of the floodplain, the subject property is regulated by the GRCA. And any future development or other alteration within the regulated area will require prior written approval from the GRCA in the form of a permit. They further mentioned that although a majority of subject property is within the floodplain, the applicant has confirmed that the existing dwelling on the property is at or above the regulatory floodplain. As such, current GRCA policies would allow replacement of the dwelling if all GRCA policies can be satisfied. They do not object to the approval of the minor variance application, but note that additional information will be required as part of the GRCA permit application.
Thank you. So, Nicole, would you please have the owner or applicant join the panelists to present their application? Oh, are you in the audience? Yeah. Well, please come forward here and present your application. And state your name and address for the record when you get here.
My name is Taylor Kant from Guelph,
What's your address?
219 Stephanie Drive in Guelph, N1K1T8.
Okay, please present. We have a drawing on the board, so you can point to it if you wish and do an explanation.
Thanks for taking the time to hear our application for 56 Brock Road South. We are requesting relief from section 13.4 of the zoning bylaw. Section 13.4 states development is not permitted within the area subject to the floodplain overlay, with the exception of minor changes to the existing buildings and structures. What we are proposing is a development that is not a minor change to the existing building. We're proposing for a new dwelling to be constructed, and therefore we require this variance. The existing dwelling was beyond repair, and the owner has to construct a new dwelling in order to restore and use his home. If the existing home could be repaired properly, the owner would have done so. However, that was not a choice, and therefore we require this variance to be able to reconstruct the home. We're also requesting relief for the front yard setback. According to the zoning bylaw, a 3-meter maximum front yard setback is permitted, whereas we are requesting a setback of 3.87 meters. The permitted maximum front yard setback of 3 meters is very close to the busy road. and the proposed house needs to be set back further to provide better quality of housing life to the occupants. Also, the benefits of a greater setback include reduced street noise coming into the house, greater safety from a vehicle accident. There'll be more curb appeal and a bigger front lawn. I don't see any advantages of keeping to the 3 meter front yard setback. Furthermore, I would like to touch on some points that would be beneficial with the approval of this development. As you probably know, we are currently facing a major housing shortage, and allowing this home to be rebuilt supports the housing shortage. It also creates intensification and will regenerate and bring back life to that aged area. It'll also prosper the township and create a lot of jobs, which we could use in a tough time. The official provincial policy statement of 2020 promotes efficient land use and cost-effective development patterns to minimize land consumption and servicing costs. The development we are proposing is essentially a rebuild of the home that was there prior. Therefore, our proposal is fulfilling the provincial policy statement by minimizing land consumption and servicing costs. In addition, the proposed development also parallels the many existing similar developments along Brock Road South. After doing some research, we came across numerous properties along Brock Road South, which are also new and similar to what we are proposing. Therefore, there should be no concern of this development not conforming with the existing neighborhood or area. Additionally, after the original pre-consultation meeting between all stakeholders, the main concern was whether GRCA would be on board with our proposal. And I'm pleased to announce they fully do support our proposal, and they're just waiting for the minor variance approval in order to proceed with the development. To conclude, I would like to note that the minor variance relief being applied for is to allow us to reconstruct a similar dwelling to the one that was in place prior. I urge the honorable committee members to carefully consider our application, as what we are proposing is minor and is to construct a single detached dwelling that was there previously. Thank you.
Good, thank you. So Lynn, are there any registrants who request to speak?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay. And are there any written comments received?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, and Bo, would you please see if there's anybody in the audience who would like to provide comments?
If there is anyone attending tonight that would like to address the committee, please use the raise your hand function at the lower right-hand corner of your screen.
There seems to be nobody.
Okay, that's good, thank you. So let's go around the table and ask, have the committee members ask questions, so provide any comments. Okay, we'll start with you, Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, in reviewing this application, I'm satisfied that it meets the 4 tests. I'm just curious, from what I understand, the current zoning on the property wouldn't permit a single family detached dwelling as of right today. However, I believe you've gone through the process of establishing legal non-conforming status. Is there a time frame in which the new dwelling needs to be constructed in order to maintain that legal non-conforming status?
Through the chairman, I think there is a timeline where we use that, but however, I'm not, I don't have information to relate that.
Okay, but it's your intention to construct the new dwelling immediately, like you're going to move forward as quickly as possible?
Yeah, so the springtime, we want to have shovels in the ground. And the use does permit a single house. It's just the section 13.4 of the bylaw doesn't permit new dwelling where the floodplain overlay is. This is in that area. So just because of that, that's why we're asking for the variance to allow. They're only allowing, repairs to the existing, but the house was beyond repair.
Right, okay. That's all I had.
Thank you, Chris.
Nothing from me, thank you.
Okay, Paul?
No, I'm good on this, thank you.
Okay, just a curiosity question. You mentioned in your presentation that this will create new jobs. I'm just wondering how you came out with that statement.
Any house creates hundreds of jobs for trades.
Okay, you're talking
Yeah.
about the trades, gotcha, okay. All right, fair enough. Okay, so we have conditions as well. I'll read out the entire document and with the conditions, and then we'll go around the table and ask you to consider the application. It's either approved or deferred or not approved. So in the matter of section 45 of the Planning Act as amended, the new comprehensive zoning bylaw 023-2018 as amended, an application for minor variance requesting relief to permit one, construction a new single-family dwelling to replace existing dwelling to permit an enlargement of 55.96% or 49.61 square meters instead of 50% or 44.33 square meters. Two, allow 3.87 meters of maximum front yard instead of 3 meters as permitted. Conditions: one, Granville Conservation Authority, a GRCA permit to be obtained. Two, a full grading plan is to be submitted as part of the building application, building permit process, which includes A, the locations of the proposed well in all buildings, B, the location of the proposed septic system, and C, the types of wells that are on the property and adjacent properties. So let's go around the table, start with you, Amanda.
Approved with those conditions.
Okay, Chris?
Just a question, do we also want to see the septic, given that this is a fairly quasi-urban area, do we need to see the location of the septic systems on the adjacent properties? So that we maintain a well to septic separation?
Well, I would assume that the building department will look at that.
Okay.
That's part of their job.
Then I'm very good with this,
Okay,
thank you.
I'll approve. And I also approve. Okay, and, yeah, and, so this decision is subject to a 20-day appeal period. Okay, somebody objects. Okay, would you please do the resolution?
That the minor variance decision is made by the committee be approved with the above noted conditions.
Okay, mover. Paul, second. Amanda, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, great. So let's put this in.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Minor variance application D13 SLO Sloot John 480 Arthur Road, requesting relief on new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 11.4 to permit or reduce lot frontage of the retained house will be 18 meters instead of 25 meters as required in table 11.3 of the zoning bylaw. Okay, Lynn, would you please do your summary of the notification, application, submission requirements, aligning staff, agency, and public comments and recommendations.
Notice of the application was given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Notice requirements for the application have been met, and the following comments were received. The Township's bylaw department had no comments. GRCA has provided comments based on our review of the submitted documents. We have no objections to the proposed application receiving approval. They further noted that the subject property is located within a wellhead protection area, and the septic system for the proposed dwelling on the retained parcel will be subject to the septic inspection program as per Grand River Source Protection Plan Policy WC-CW 3.1. And further noted that the first inspection will occur 5 years after the installation of the septic system. The fire department has asked that the owners please ensure that the driveway to the proposed house is able to accommodate emergency vehicles, keeping driveways free of overhanging branches up to a height of 5 meters above the road surface, maintaining the driveway surface, and ensuring that the driveway can handle a 4-meter wide truck. And also that they will ensure that a fire truck can get close to the proposed structure if there's an emergency. Guelph Junction Railway said that they operate a long-standing successful railway business, which does share a property line with the requester. Property backs onto a busy switching yard, so care must be taken to forewarn the developer of such a business that switching does occur daily. Noise is emitted from the switching, including horn blasts at Carter or the Arkell roadways with minimum blockages. If the property is developed for additional homes, a warning clause of such a business must be in the sales or lease agreement to protect the railway, and the development standards adjacent to the railways must be followed. Source Water noted that based on our reviews of the submitted documents, Source Water has no objections to the proposed application receiving approval. County planning staff do not have any concerns with the proposed minor variance application.
Thank you. So would the applicant, agent, please come forward and, give your presentation. And please state your name and address for the record.
Jeff Buseman from Van Herten Surveying.
Great, so please present the application.
Sure. The committee has seen this before as a proposed severance. The severance has been approved, subject to conditions, and we're working on the conditions. One of the conditions is that the minor variance that, for a width of 18 meters at the front instead of the minimum requirement of 25. The severance has been laid out according to what we had been planned all along. There's a road widening happening in the front. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward, just a request for the 18 versus 25 at the front.
Thank you. Then, are there any registrants who are interested to speak?
No, Mr. Chair.
Have we received any comments from the public?
No, Mr. Chair, we do not.
And, Nicole, would you, and, Lynn, would you please canvass the audience to see if there's anybody in the audience who'd like to, speak or make comments?
If there is anyone attending that would like to address the committee or ask any questions, please use the raise your hand function at the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Mr. Chair, I do not see you.
Okay, start with you, Molly.
The fire department's comments about accommodating fire, an emergency vehicle, is that also captured during the building permit review process? I noticed that we don't typically incorporate the fire department comments as conditions, and I don't know if that's because building clears those as part of the permit process, or if the fire department just wants to make that noted, but not necessarily a condition.
So, Mr. Chairman, it is the part of the permit process.
Okay, great, so that'll be captured there. And then the city of Guelph's comment, again, I don't know if that's worth adding as a condition. I'm sure whoever purchases that property will hopefully be aware of the rail line to the rear of the property, but I think we've seen from residents in the past that they think they can move in and then change the fact that there are trains going in their backyard. So I guess we leave that to the discretion of the seller, but I just wanted to bring that to light again.
Sure.
Help you out on that. That was a condition of the severance. It was included in the severance. And, one of the conditions of this application is that all the conditions of the consent application have to be met before this, minor variance is, enacted. So let's cover it.
Perfect.
Hey, Chris.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Oh,
Nothing for me.
and I have nothing as well. Okay, so we'll, turn over to committee members. I want to have to finish reading the actual wording in the matter of section 45 of the Planning Act as amended and new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended, an application for a minor variance requesting relief to permit a reduced lot frontage of retained parcels to be 18 meters instead of 25 meters as required. One condition that all township conditions on the consent application be 32-24 have been met to the satisfaction of the township. So again, satisfy yourself, it's with the 4 conditions and either vote approve, oppose, or defer. So we'll start with you, Amanda.
Approved.
Chris?
Approved.
Paul? Approved. And I approve as well, and subject to 20 days appeal period.
We do the resolution for that.
Sure, please.
That the minor variance decisions made by the committee be approved with the following conditions, that all township conditions of the consent application be that 32-24 have been met to the satisfaction of the township.
Okay, no mover. Paul, Chris, second, all in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. Should I just stay for the next one?
We don't want you moving up and down.
I think you're the star for the rest of the meeting.
Okay, so, we'll move back to the, hearing part of the meeting. Minor application D13-MEC, McDonald, Terrence and Lisa, 7049 Gore Road. Requesting relief of new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended from section 11.4 to permit one, a reduced lot frontage for the southern parcel will be 18 meters instead of 25 meters as required. Two, a reduced lot frontage for the retained parcel will be 10 meters instead of 25 meters as required. So Lynn, would you please go through the process of advising us, summarizing the application, notification, submission requirements, outlining staff, agency, public comments, and recommendations.
Notice that the application was given in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Notice requirements for the application have been met and the following comments were received. Township's building and bylaw departments had no comments. The GRCA also had no comments. County Planning said that they do not have any concerns with the proposed minor variance application. SourceWater stated that since the property is not located in a vulnerable area, the application to be screened out does not require a section 59 notice under the Clean Water Act. The fire again noted that please ensure emergency vehicles can access the laneways to these properties. Ensure that any tree limbs are cut back to allow a 5-meter clear height above the road surface to ensure a fire truck can get close to any structures. And Hamilton Conservation Authority stated that they understand the minor variance application has been submitted to fill a condition of the severance application B 102-23. They have reviewed the proposed severance through the severance application and have no objection. Consequently, HCA staff have no comments to provide regarding the proposed minor variance application.
Great, thank you. So, Jeff, would you please, have your presentation?
Thank you. Similar situation that we're asking for a severance for the variance for the frontage of the parcel. I just want to look at that sketch a little bit differently.
There's a blow up on the side there. So.
There's actually two variances, eh? There's the variance for this one and this one,
Yep.
okay? Just to be clear. Again, this was before the committee before. The severance was approved subject to conditions, including the variances to be 10 meters for the retained parcel and 18 for the severed parcel. Just to clarify, we also, as part of the severance process, had a hydro easement set up for the benefit of the retained parcel. Again, pretty straightforward, and it's just, providing there's decent access to the severed. And even right from the start, talked with the road superintendent that we can have the appropriate safe entrances there.
Okay,
And also the planning report identifies that this meets the 4 tests for a variance. Thanks.
okay, thank you. So Lynn, are there any registrants who requested to speak?
No, Mr. Chair, there are not.
Have we received any comments?
No, we did not.
Okay, and Nicole, would you please canvass the audience, to see if anybody in the audience would like to provide comments?
If anyone attending would like to ask any questions or address the committee, please use the raise your hand function at the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Mr. Chair, I do not see anyone raising their hand.
Okay, great, thank you. So let's turn over to committee members. Start with you, Amanda.
I have no comments on.
Chris?
I'm in favor, approved.
Okay, Paul, any comments? No. Okay, so I'll read out the document. In the matter of section 45 Planning Act was amended and a new comprehensive zoning bylaw 23-2018 as amended, an application for minor variance requesting relief to permit one, a reduced lot frontage for the severed parcel be 18 meters instead of 25 meters as required. 2, a reduced lot frontage for the retained parcel be 10 meters instead of 25 meters as required. Here's, we have no conditions, so we'll start with you, Amanda.
Approved.
Chris? Approved. Paul? Approved. I approve as well, and it's subject to 20-day appeal period.
Thank you.
Yes, please, go ahead.
That the minor variance decision as made by the committee be approved with no conditions.
mover, Amanda, second, Chris, all in favor? Thank you. All right. Hey, gentlemen, ladies,
Thank you.
go ahead. Reports. We have none. New business, is there any new business any committee would like to bring up? I just want to touch on what Amanda suggested, making sure that the fire department's satisfied that the conditions are not included as conditions of the minor events. Could you just make sure that that's the case of the building department will look at it?
Yes, Mr. Chair, and we do put the minor variance decisions into our database, so that is checked at the time the building permit is submitted, so we know to follow up on that.
Okay, so I just want to make sure the fire department doesn't want to. All right, adjournment, mover, I guess you'll read the plan.
That committee of adjustment hereby adjourns at 7:32 p.m.
Mover, all, second, Amanda, all in favor? Thank you. Okay. So, okay, so, we're now starting the Planning and Development Advisory Committee meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask for a roll call. We'll start with Amanda Knight. Preston Picard.
Present.
Paul Sedra.
Present.
And I, Council Johnson Booth, I'm present as well. So we'll do a moment of reflection. Thank you. Start with the confirmation agenda.
That the committee approves the August 13th, 2024 PDAC agenda and reports are circulated.
Okay, we'll mover. Paul, second, Amanda, all in favor? Great, so I'll just make a note that the meeting is video and audio recorded. And all in-person electronic means are uploaded to municipality's YouTube page by registering to participate in the meeting by electronic means or consenting to have their likeness and comments recorded and posted on YouTube. And we'll move into the next item, the culture of conflict of interest. Do we have any? None? Very good. Delegations, we do not have any, as I understand it. Okay, consent agenda. Start with the, read out minutes of it.
That the Planning and Development Advisory Committee approves the minutes from the meeting held on May 14th, 2024.
Okay, mover, Chris, second Amanda, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, notice of public meetings, do we have any notices?
No, Mr. Chair, we do not.
Okay. Okay, let's go into the land division, the seventh application, B 62-24, Nichols Bryan, 6637 Roselle Road, full severance is 0.4 hectares for 47 meter frontage, existing proposed rural residential use for the existing barn, and retained parcel is 3.1 hectares with 60 meter frontage, existing proposed rural residential use with existing dwelling. Great. So, I'll ask Lynn first, were there any comments received, agency comments?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we did receive some. I can read them out.
Yes, please.
The township's fire bylaw and public works departments had no concerns. The source water has said that since this property is located in a vulnerable area, that the activities as indicated would not create a significant drinking water threat. The application from the screened out does not require a section 59 notice under the Clean Water Act. They further noted that they may provide comments on any future applications subject to this property given the vulnerable areas. Building department has stated that if this consent is to move forward, the building department would require the following. First, a building permit is required to relocate the septic system onto the retained property and decommission the original septic. Secondly, they would require spatial separation calculations for the barn to remain on the severed portion. The qualified BCIN designer should perform the spatial separation analysis. The existing structure will likely not meet the spatial separation limits and require upgrades for fire resistance rating and non-combustible cladding system based on the current limiting distance of approximately 1.5 meters. A separate building permit will be required for any upgrades needed. They also noted that spatial separation requirements may be reduced or eliminated if the existing farm building is converted to a residential accessory use. The option would require a change of use building permit. The change of use building permit would require an evaluation by an engineer to determine whether the existing structure is suitable for residential accessory use, and structural upgrades may be necessary as a result of the engineer's assessment. They also stated that demolition of the buildings is also an option if none of the above are feasible, and a demolition permit is encouraged if the applicant pursues that option. Then they provided an update and said for the new building envelope location, spatial separation calculations are required to address the distance between the barn and the proposed house. And they further noted that their notes 2A and 2B above are also options. And they also said that to demonstrate that proposed driveway will not negatively impact the proposed septic system envelope show, they would like to see the full extent of the proposed driveway leading up to the proposed dwelling and the distance from the septic system envelope. GRCA has stated that information currently available at their office indicates that a portion of the severed parcel is in the floodplain and the regulated allowance adjacent to the floodplain. The retained parcel contains Wellington Road 32 Creek, floodplain, valley slopes, provincially significant Speed River wetland complex, and the regulated allowance adjacent to these features. Portions of the subject lands are also designated as part of the Greenland system in the County of Wellington official plan. Due to the presence of the features in the above, portions of the subject lands are regulated by the GRCA, and any future development or other alteration within the regulated area will require prior written approval from the GRCA in the form of a permit pursuant to Ontario Regulation 41-24. They further noted that consent application proposes to sever a lot for rural residential uses. Although current GRCA mapping does not indicate that the floodplain extends into the severed parcel, available information indicates that a portion of the severed lot is within the floodplain. The estimated regulatory floodplain evaluation was provided to the applicant and staff from Van Harden Surveying. And I have circulated updated plans with conceptual building envelope to demonstrate that all future development on the severed lot can be located outside of the floodplain. Since the retained parcel is already developed with residential uses and it has been demonstrated that the severed parcel has a building envelope outside of the floodplain, the application will not increase risk associated with the natural hazards. And as such, the GRCA has no objection to the approval of this application. And their final comment was further to the comments above, any future development on the severed parcel must be outside of the floodplain, and detailed plans for any future development on the severed parcel will be required to demonstrate conformance with applicable GRCA policies. That's it.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we'll have the applicant or agent please come forward and make the presentation.
So this property is in prime ag designated lands, and we're proposing this infill parcel. As you saw probably in the other version of the sketch, this parcel is very odd shaped. It goes way back over here. And yeah, that's a good picture. It's a giant piece, including this pond and so on. So the plan is to take advantage of the space that's in here between these two, between the houses and so on, to create a new parcel. The area is 0.44 of a hectare, so 0.4 is usually the minimum that we like to see these. So this is what's proposed for the proposed severance. There were some questions about the layout within the property. So when we submitted the application initially using the GRCA website and we have access to their GIS system, we understood the floodplain line to be here somewhere. But then after it was submitted, GRCA was kind enough to contact me and say, no, I think the floodplain's a little further out than you imagine. So using the contours on their website, this is an approximation of that flood line. And so that's why we presented this, and the GRCA is asking that the septic and the dwelling and the entrance all be outside the floodplain. So that's kind of how we've set that up. Eventually, assuming support here and approval at the Land Division Committee, we will do a detailed site plan to show that this development is possible. Because we haven't nailed down, we haven't done a survey to get the exact elevation on this property yet. So this is a little bit hypothetical, but conditions will be at the separate stage to ensure that development is possible outside the floodplain. The plan is to remove this barn. Okay. Any questions?
Okay, we'll start with you, Amanda.
This is a unique proposal. I noticed in the staff report, the recommendation was deferral based on the fact that we hadn't received GRCA comments. Those have come in, but can we confirm that we still have yet to receive comments from the County of Wellington?
Through the chair, no, we have not received comments from them,
Okay.
but this will be going to land division, so they may apply their comments.
Okay. I would just be curious to have them weigh in, given the fact that this is prime ag, and I know severances aren't typically supported in the prime ag zone. However, I understand that this property is unique in that it's not currently being farmed. It doesn't look like it could be farmed. I just, without having the county comments and without having recommended conditions from staff, not that I'm not supportive of this, but deferral until we get that and have staff look at it, because I think there are going to be conditions that we would want to impose here or recommend to land division. So it's just where my head's at right now.
Well, I think staff have mentioned that the county will do all the conditions they want at their committee meeting. Staff typically, my understanding is they have a bunch of reports, and some of them they just pass through because there's no issues, and some of them that are controversial, they have separate discussions on them. So, and they present I guess, a mini report on what their concerns would be. So, from a township perspective, I think we should just limit ourselves to what's concerned to us and whether or not we support ourselves, the application. And if there's anything else that we think that from a township perspective, we need to add in here, and then we'll add it in condition. Please, start with me.
If I understood you correctly, the dark dashed line represents the current best guess to the limit of floodplain. What happens if the actual survey shows the floodplain, the line closer to the, I'll call it south? Okay, we've got it up here.
Yeah.
What happens if we get the floodplain further south and all of a sudden you end up with a very small sliver of property?
Then it may be undevelopable, like the severance would like, so I'm expecting the condition to be a site plan to the satisfaction of the township of Puslinch, really, because the township is the one who normally takes a look at the site plan. So I'm expecting this committee to recommend a condition for a site plan. And if we can't make a viable, let's say it's 3 meters wide, okay?
Yeah.
It isn't gonna work, okay? This thing's dead. But we would like to go through the process of having this being heard by your committee and the Land Division Committee before we go through the fairly significant expense of doing the site plan, and that's why we prefer it to be a condition.
That's where I'm going, which is
Yeah.
the sequence of operations. There's a very clear decision to do this rather than establish the floodplain line in advance. That
Yeah.
helps. Thank you.
Okay.
That's it for me.
Okay, so I guess just following up on that, Chris, suggesting something along the lines that the applicant demonstrate to the satisfaction that a viable development can occur on this property.
Yeah, I think, I was just trying to read the conditions here again. What do you
I
add to
recall
this?
seeing it in there.
But I would ask that, I would agree, yes, I would ask that that, subject to a satisfactory topographic survey showing that, finding the right words, showing that the severance is in fact viable.
So I would think that the applicant, demonstrate that the, viable development can occur on this property, and he would have to pull in all the topo maps and all the information from GRCA.
I think it was phrased something along the lines that after a detailed topographic survey, that the correct identification, line of floodplain, improved that it's a viable site to the satisfaction of the township, which would therefore allow building planning staff to evaluate the.
Yeah, suggested, like the phrasing of a site plan is probably the best because it can incorporate everything, right? We're gonna probably design the septic bed as well, at least preliminary. So that in the site plan incorporates, the house where the driveway is gonna go, a bit of the grading, those kinds of things. And so more than just knowing the floodplain, I think the site plan is a little more comprehensive.
Okay, so Lane, do you want to read what you got on that, and get Chris to amend it as he thinks?
That the applicant provide a site plan to demonstrate that the viable development can occur on this property to the satisfaction of the township.
That sounds good to me. Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. All right, Paul, your comments.
No, I'm supportive piece of that.
Okay, so the only comment I would ask, that we put a condition there that the barn be demolished. I don't think it's in here. Okay, going around that one more time, Amanda, anything else you wish to add?
Just wondering if we should also incorporate the building department's comments into that site plan condition, just to ensure MDS requirements are being met. I don't know if that would typically be captured on the site plan, or if that should be a separate condition that just at the building departments.
Well, the MDS is already a condition in here, 2.1.
Oh,
It's on
not
the-
the decision,
it's on the
that was
decision, yes.
circulated separately,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
And what else you were mentioning, the MDS, and you were saying something else?
No, I think if that's already captured on the decisions sheet that was circulated separately, then I'm satisfied.
Okay, good. Chris?
Nothing more. Thank you.
Paul?
Thanks.
Okay, so, Lynn, I'm gonna ask you to read all the conditions now.
Okay,
Okay, if the standard stuff, just skim over, but, it's important that the, other, special conditions are mentioned.
okay. The Planning and Development Advisory Committee supports the application subject to conformance with full GRCA policies and the following conditions. If that the owner satisfy the requirements of township coastline, financial and otherwise, including taxes paid in full, consent review and condition clearance fee. The owner is required to obtain zoning conformity, including but not limited to the following items. 2.1 and 2.2. 2.1 is that the owner apply for and receive approval of minor variance to obtain zoning conformity for the severed parcel for the reduced NDS setbacks to the satisfaction of the township. And 2.2, that the zoning compliance for the proposed severed parcel be demonstrated to the satisfaction of the township. Third condition, that the owner shall be required to sign an affidavit stating that they will insert a warning clause in the agreement of purchase and sale for the proposed severed parcel, advising any potential purchaser of possible excessive noise from the aggregate operation located at 6618 Roselle Road. Condition 4, that the owner obtain a building permit to relocate septic system onto the retained property and decommission the original. Number 5, that any fees incurred by the township for the review of this application and any supporting materials will be responsibility of the applicant to be formally outlined through a development agreement as required. That servicing can be accommodated to both the retained and severed parcels to the satisfaction of the township. That the owner provide a site plan to demonstrate that a viable development can occur on this property to the satisfaction of the township. And did you want a condition that the barn be demolished?
Yes, absolutely.
That the barn, that the owner apply for a demolition permit to demolish the barn to the satisfaction of the township.
Good, fair enough. So before we start reading, so then I just want to make sure that, do we receive any written comments?
No, Mr. Chair, we do not.
Okay, and I just want to mention that if there's any attendees watching, this, would like to give comments or have questions, please make sure that, they, provide it to the land division committee meeting. Do we have a date when this will be heard?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I believe it's the 21st, or is it
Well,
going into September? It must
I
be
think the
September.
September meeting.
September meeting.
I think
Okay,
it's
so,
September.
if you have any, if you want to know specifically on the date, then please contact Lynn Banks, Bill Banks at Worcester.ca. She can do that. Okay, so we, then read all the, conditions and that we support this. We'll go around the table, have a mover to, accept the conditions and, that we support the application. Moved by Amanda, seconded by Chris, all in favor, thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I guess you want to do your standard, motion.
Yeah, but the committee supports severance application B 62-24, subject to the aforementioned conditions.
Good, thank you. Mover, Amanda, second Chris, all in favor. Okay, so let's go to the next one, severance application B 61-24, Fletcher, Philip and Sheila, 6683, Ellis Road. Proposed lot line adjustments, 0.34 hectares with no frontage, outdoor storage area with cell tower to be added to abutting parcel. Collaborative Structures Capital Holdings Limited, retained parcels 0.81 hectares for 70-meter frontage, existing proposed rural residential use for, with existing dwelling shed. Okay, Lynn, so do we have any comments?
Yes, Mr. Chair, the township's bylaw, fire department, public works departments all had no concerns with the application. And Sourcewise Water has advised that one or more of the land uses proposed to be engaged in at the above noted property has been designated as a restricted land use under section 59 of the Clean Water Act. They further noted the application was reviewed in accordance with the Clean Water Act and the Grand River Source Protection Plan as amended, based on the information submitted as part of the application. Section 57 or section 58 of the Clean Water Act do not apply at this time, and to the activities outlined in the application for the above referenced property. Based on the application and submitted documents, the activities proposed at the subject property would not be considered a significant drinking water threat. Therefore, neither section 57 nor 58 of the Clean Water Act apply. Please note that the addition of the parking lot storage area to the property may require risk management plan for winter maintenance activities if required.
Good, thank you. So we'll have the applicant do the, presentation.
So this, I think it's better to go here. That's better for you folks. Sorry. Maybe we should turn that one off. Now, anyways, this was severed in two parcels quite some time ago. One of the, owners, operators of CSL,
Collaborative structures.
that's it, Collaborative Structures Limited, were the people who live here. And so, CSL's been using this for their storage. It's been fenced off and been like that for a long time. And now they want to clean things up and basically have a lot line adjustment so that the storage area is merged with this. And like, I'm gonna say, it's not shown really well, but the whole back area is used for storage of different things that they use at construction sites. It's really a tucked away corner. This is the en route center from the 401. So then you have, it is really a tucked away corner. You really can't see it from Ellis Road or from the 401. I mean, the buildings and all that for the center is over here. It's quite a ways away. We acknowledge that, one of the conditions is a zone change to reflect that this will have the same zoning as this one. And also that the site plan will be amended to reflect this additional land being part of this development or this property. So at the end of the day, it's just gonna reflect how the land is used today. Okay. Any questions?
Okay, so ask Linda, are there any written comments you see from the public?
No, Mr. Chair.
Has anybody asked for to come forward?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, fair enough. Let's turn it over to committee members, man.
Yep, this one is straightforward to me, makes sense. I'm satisfied with the conditions. No further comments.
Chris?
I'm good, thank you.
Oh,
I'm good, thanks.
I'm good as well. So then if you can read the motion and let's try to capture everything as one motion.
Sure. The committee supports severance application B 61-24, subject to the following conditions. That the owner satisfy all the requirements of township postage, financial and otherwise, including taxes paid in full and consent with the only condition tenants fee. Number two, that the owner applied for and received approval of a zoning bylaw amendment application to rezone the severed parcel to a site-specific zoning special provision 77 to the satisfaction of the township. Number three, that the owner applied for and received approval of a site plan agreement amendment to include the storage structures on the proposed severed parcel as part of the current site plan agreement for the property located at 6683 Ellis Road. And number four, that any fees incurred by the township of Portland for the review of this application will be the responsibility of the applicant. And that's it.
Okay, great. So we have a mover. Paul, second, Chris, all in favor? Thank you. I'd just like to point out, if there's any attendees watching the hearing, would like to give comments or questions, on this application, please provide it to the, Plan Division Committee, and the date will be sometime September, and contact Lynn Banks for the actual date. All right, so let's move into next one, 9.1.3, Severance application B 53-24, Sims, William and Margaret, 4238, concession 7, proposed severance is 0.44 hectares with 53 meter frontage. Existing vacant land for proposed rural residential use. Retained parcel is 20.1 hectares with 68 meter frontage. Existing proposed agricultural use with existing dwelling and garage. Okay, Lynn, so would you please advise us of the comments from the agency?
Certainly. So the township's building bylaw, public works, and fire departments had no concerns, and those are the only comments we received.
Fair enough. Okay, we'll turn it over to Jeff.
Thank you, committee. This one is pretty straightforward. It's designated as secondary ag in the official plan. So this severance follows all the rules of one severance after March 2005. The owner has to own the land for at least 5 years. The fact that it's secondary ag. One thing I always evaluate at the onset is a safe entrance, and we have figured out that there's a safe entrance there on this property. The proposal is to have this about 53 meters wide and parallel with tree row. We're gonna leave a little bit of space between the tree row and the severance. But it's basically 0.44 of a hectare. Again, minimum's typically 0.4. So it meets all the criteria. There is an old dilapidated barn down here. When we did severance application B 6518, over here, that barn was considered not structurally sound, and that is still the case. That hasn't changed. So that means that barn will not apply for MBS. So MBS is clear as well. Any questions? I'll be happy to answer questions.
Before we get into it, so Lynn, were there any written comments received?
No, Mr. Chair, that
Have there were anybody requested to, is anybody requested to speak?
no. Mr. Chair.
Fair enough. So I'll mention to the attendees, if you're watching, would like to give comments or questions, please refer them to the Land Division Committee. The date is sometime September
Thank you, Mr. Chair, September 12th.
12th, and see it on that basis. So let's go around the table and ask committee members. So,
No comment from me.
Chris,
No questions from me. Thank you.
no questions. And I have no questions as well. All right, so Lynn, you captured everything in one motion.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the committee supports severance application B 53-24, subject to the following conditions. They are number one, that the owner satisfy all the requirements of the township of Portland, financial and otherwise, including taxes paid in full and consent review and condition clearance fee. Number two, that the owner obtains zoning conformity, including but not limited to item 2.1 to the satisfaction of the township. Item 2.1 is applied for and received approval of a minor variance for the retained parcel for the reduced lot frontage. Three, that servicing can be accommodated to the proposed severed parcel to the satisfaction of the township. And four, that any fees incurred by the township of Portland for the review of this application supporting materials will be the responsibility of the applicant.
Okay, so mover, Paul, second, Amanda, all in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, 9.2, I guess we don't have any zoning bylaw applications, 9.3, if there's any staff reports, local otherwise, no. Correspondence, none, any new business any members like to bring up? No, okay, Okay, Lynn, do your,
That the Planning and Development Advisory Committee hereby adjourns at 8 o'clock.
okay, mover, Amanda, second, Paul, all in favor? Thank you.